Okay guys, let's solve this angle of elevation. Okay, now before we start, let's write our solution. But then before we continue or before we proceed, I want to make something very clear to you guys, most especially those guys in secondary schools and post-secondary levels that normally find angle of elevation and angle of depression very difficult to solve. So at least after today's class, you should be able to make attempts if you are given angle of elevation, angle of depression. Now in this case, look, let's assume I am standing here now, just as I stand. Look at me very well. You see my eyes. There is something that is projected upwards or downwards. So at this level of my eye, you can see this, it is horizontal. It is what? Horizontally. Normally, as I stand like this now, the level of my eye level is horizontal. Like this. It is what? Horizontal. Let's say this is that level of my eye. This is my eye here. And here is that horizontal level of my eye. Okay, guys? That's the level of my eye. But now, an object is, I am meant to see an object that is somewhat away from me vertically, but not directly vertical. Is that clear now? But slightly vertical, okay? Just I'm meant to look upwards and see something, or maybe see a bird flying above my head level. So now what do? I will look up. So when I look up like this now, you will see what is going on here. This is the normal level of my eye horizontally. But now I want to look up. I will now go like this up. You see? But not vertically upwards, but slightly upwards. That's how I will look. So to do that, look at it. Now look at this eye. If I want to see an object here now, what will I do? I'll just do like this. I will look like this, right? I will look like this. You see, to see that object. Have you seen it now? But this is the normal level of this my eye. But I will have to look upwards like this to see this object. Is that clear, guys? So here now, an angle of elevation has been formed. Say theta. Okay? To be my angle of elevation. Then I can close this place now. You see, it has formed the right angle triangle. Do you get? And this will now be the height of that object. The height of this object. This will be the height of this place that I just enclosed now. Do you get, guys? So that here now, because this vertical angle, this line has cut this horizontal line perpendicularly. So the right angle is formed here, where this line and this meets. And here now, this longest line that always faces this right angle here becomes the hypotenuse. While this vertical line becomes the height, or which is facing this angle here, becomes what? Becomes the opposite. The line that faces the angle is the opposite, whereas this one now that does not face any angle is now my adjacent. Is that clear, guys? So that whichever way or whatever I want to solve, I'll be able to get it correctly, either using Pythagoras theorem or by any other means. Good. Now, however, assuming I wish to look downwards, but not vertically downwards, but I wish to look downwards. The level of our eye is already horizontal, so I will now look like this, slightly downwards, not vertically downwards. So what does that mean? If I want to present that on the board, so now I want to present that on the board. So what I will do is look at the level of my eye here, horizontal level. So if I want to look slightly downwards to see this object here, is that clear, guys? So I will just look slightly like this, slightly downwards, you see, to see an object like this now. That is it. And at that moment, I'll say that angle of depression has been formed. Elevation means to raise something up, right? While depression means to bring something down. Are you getting it now? So this is my angle of depression, say alpha. You see the thing now? So after which I can close this place. If I close this place now, you see? You see? Is that clear, guys? So that is it. And now, let's go. So, as it is like this, having understood this, let's solve the question on the board. Now, the question on the board is, the angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground which is 36 meters away from the foot of the tower is 30 degrees. Calculate the height of the tower. So look at what you are going to do. In this place now, you make your diagram, sketch your diagram first. So now, assuming this is that tower, see that tower. Let me just say this is the tower. Assuming this is the tower, okay? Assuming this is the tower, and this is the ground level. This is the ground level of that tower. This is the ground level of that tower. This is the ground level of that tower. And you are standing like this now to look at the top of that tower. Look at it. The top of that tower. You see? You see how it goes now? You look at the top of this tower, T, slightly upwards. But this is the eye level. Is that clear, guys? So now you connect. This is the horizontal level of your eye. This is now. That is simple. So at this point, it has formed right angle triangle. It has formed right angle because this vertical line meets with this horizontal line at this point. That's right angle. And this will become your adjacent. I mean your hypotenuse. Why this place now? Because this is the angle of elevation here. Which is what? 30 degrees. Okay? Now, another English here is that a tower from a point on the ground which is 36 meters. So now, away from the foot of the tower, look at the foot of the tower here at the ground level. And this is that point here that you stand and look like this upward to see the top of this tower. Okay? So here now, the distance between you, the distance from this point that you stand to look and the foot of this tower is 36 meters. You write 36 meters. Good. Now, you come again. After this, it says, okay, that it makes an angle of 30 degrees. That is the angle of elevation. And this is the angle of elevation here. You see, that is the angle you make with, this is the level of your eye now, this point now, which is horizontal normally. But now you decide to look upwards, making an angle. You see the thing now, creating an angle, because when you now bring your eye upward, it will now make an angle theta. It will make angle which is given as 30 degrees here. Okay, now calculate the height of the tower which is here. This is the height of that tower, H. Okay, that's the height of the tower that you are meant to calculate from the ground to the top here. Okay, now looking at this, you see we don't have the hypotenuse, but we have the adjacent here that does not face the angle here, any angle. And we have this height facing this 30 degrees, which means this is our opposite. Since we have opposite and adjacent, what do you think we will use? Opposite and adjacent has already given us clue to use what? To use tan theta. To use what? Tan theta, because sin theta is opposite over hypotenuse, but we are not using hypotenuse and the opposite, right? So what again? Cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, but we are not using opposite and hypotenuse. I mean, adjacent over hypotenuse. We are not using hypotenuse and adjacent. What we have here is opposite, which is what we are looking for, and adjacent. So we use tan theta. So that we'll have that tan 30 degrees is equal to what? Tan 30 degrees is equal to opposite, which is this h all over adjacent, which is what? 36 meters. Okay, so here we have that our then we make this h the subject of the formula by cross multiplying like this. We cross multiply so that we'll have that h times 1 equal to, just h is equal to 36 times tan 30, which is 36 tan 30 degrees. But remember that tan 30 degrees, if you draw this, because this is standard angle, then you have 30 degrees here, then you have what here? 2, and then you have your square root of 3, then you have your 1. So tan 30 degrees is equal to, so that tan 30 is equal to 1 all over square root of 3. Okay? So now, square root of 1 over square root of 3, so that you will come here now and say it is equal to 36 times 1 all over square root of 3. Okay? Then you rationalize the sort. You do what? You rationalize the sort. At this point, you can use your calculator to get a final answer. But then, look, 36 times 1 is what? 36. Then you have equal to 36 all over what? All over so the 3. Is that clear? So you rationalize so that you have that it is equal to 36 over sod 3 multiplied by sod 3 all over sod 3, which will give you equal to 36 times sod 3 will give you 36 sod 3 all over what? All over sod 3 times sod 3 is 3. Is that clear? Which is 3 times 3? 9. Sod 9 is 3. So now 3 divide itself 1. 3 divide 36 is 3 divide 3 is 1. 3 divide 6 is 2, which is 12, which will give you equal to what? 12 sod 3 meters. This becomes your answer. That is h is equal to 12 sod 3 meters. Then you can convert this further now to get your answer. Just if you press sod 3, what will it give you? 20.78. So if you press sod 3, it is going to give you sod 3 will give you 1.732 so then what you need to do here is just to put 1.73, since we are dealing with, since your options are given in 2 decimal places, so you use 1.73. Is that clear, guys? So you will have equal to 12 times 1.73. So now 12 times 1.73, what will you get? So you will have 20.76. You have 20.76. You have 20.76 meters. Okay, so therefore your height h is equal to 20.76 meters. So guys, this is your answer. So what's the closest option here? Option A is 62.35 meters. No. Then option B is 20.78 meters. And that's the closest answer. So option B is correct. Okay, this ones are because of approximation. Okay, so 20.78 is the right option, and that's the correct one. That is closest to this. So bye.